even those who don't or are not sure they believe, you let one of us get in a bind, get in a tight, get yourself in a hard place, and first thing we heard, Lord help me. Reverend Judy, I know there are a lot of Christians, and there are a lot of people who may not be believers, but are kind of straddling the fence who want to believe. I've been out here so long. Can he fix me? And if he can, why hasn't he? If this God we're talking about, and then there are even some Christians out here who have experienced clean time and then fallen back, and now just not sure if God can really do this. So how do you address that?
The first thing we have to address is that getting rid of feeling like when we come to God, when we get saved, that changes everything immediately. It does not.
Right.
It does not. So really what has happened is people have gone in with false hope. Because it hasn't happened right away.
Yeah.
When God never said that it would happen right away. All he said to do was to believe. That doesn't mean that you're not going to still have to go through this journey, this process.
Right.
And part of that is because, okay, you say, well, if God can deliver me, why doesn't he deliver me now? Why do I have to struggle for 5 years? Well, that struggle for 5 years is intentional, because when you come through it, when I come through it, who are you going to help?
Yes.
If I had never been through a struggle, there's no way that I can stand up and tell you about who this God is.
No test.
I had to go through it in order to come to it, in order to meet you, to help you to become an overcomer.
Right.
You have to go through it. In the Bible, it even talks about Jesus being tempted when he was in the wilderness. Satan tempted him. If Jesus himself was tempted, what makes us think that we're not going to be tempted?
Right.
Who said that the temptation was not going to come? And God never said that.
You're right.
The temptation is going to be there. Know that.
Right.
What God did say is he'll provide an escape for you.
Yes, he did.
He'll provide an escape for you to escape that temptation. But he never said that it was going to be an instant thing.
Right.
Now we want everything, microwave. We don't want to put anything in the oven. We want to put it in the microwave.
Right.
And we want to do Christianity like that too.
You're right. I want to talk about recovery. My counselor said this is a journey. She said you'll be doing this for the rest of your life. Now, when she said that, I thought, what you mean for the rest of my life? I got a job, 9 to 5.
Right.
I don't need another one. I'm good. I understood that there were some things that I had to change about my lifestyle that I would be doing for the rest of my life. And so, but we all see recovery different. And I know that you see recovery as a minister, even the word recovery different. So I'd like for you to share that with some of the listeners.
Before I even really go there, the recovery process, it is a process, and you are there for a short period of time. Some people are there longer than others. But even, I'm just going to give you an example of, I tried to quit smoking cigarettes several occasions. And the first time it didn't work, the second time it didn't work, the third time. And I noticed about that while I was trying to quit smoking cigarettes, I was still going to the bars, drinking. I was still drinking coffee. I was still eating. And guess what? All of those things made me want a cigarette.
Right.
So I had to learn how to remove myself from things that was going to promote this cigarette. Same thing with the drugs. Whatever was going to trigger that. So if I'm in recovery, if I'm going through this process, then there's some things that I'm going to have to change while I'm going through this process. Otherwise, the journey will really become difficult. Because it's already a challenge in itself. Warfare is nothing but simply a tug of war. Do you remember when you used to play the game tug of war?
Yes.
And you used to grab the rope and you used to pull each other back and forth? That's what it is in the spirit, that tug. Yeah. This thing keeps telling me to do this, but then something else is pulling me this way saying, no, don't do that. Yes, do that. No, don't do that. That's tug of war in the spirit. Whether we have acknowledged God in our lives or not, whether we believe in Jesus Christ or not, that warfare is there.
Yes.
And it's very real. That thing that you feel on the inside, constantly fighting, that battle, that is called spiritual warfare. That's what that is. The reason spiritual warfare comes is to keep us in bondage. That's all it's designed to do, to keep us in a place of bondage, so that the strongholds, the things that we wrestle with back and forth, that tug and war, them strongholds. And that's why it's hard to grip on. It's like that in the spiritual realm and inside here. That war is going on in here. That war is going on in your mind.
Yeah.
You know, when I was out in the world and doing what I was doing, this is real to me because I've done everything. God has had to deliver me from everything that you can think of. When you look at the 10 Commandments, been there, done that, broke them all. God has delivered me from fornicating, adultery, drugs, alcohol, you name it, I've done it. And I always say it this way, when I served the world, which is Satan's world, I served it well.
Yes.
I did it well. On my job, I was an addict. They didn't know it because I was dressed in a suit, full-length mink coat, sitting in the office doing cocaine and pills every day.
Wow.
Would come out the office, suit was right, I was right.
Wow.
Every day, I had that warfare. Every day. And God delivered me. He took it from me.
Amen.
Relapse is nothing but simply stated falling back, going back, picking up your old habits of what you've done before. In the Bible, it's considered backsliding. Same thing. The first thing I want to let you know, though, is don't beat yourself up.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up, because as long as you beat yourself up, that's condemnation, and that's God has nothing to do with that.
Right.
Because we all have issues. That's the first thing. Now, that does not give you permission, though, to stay there.
Right.
But don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up.
Okay.
The other thing is, you know, when we relapse from a spiritual aspect, is when you open that, when you have stopped doing something, and this could be anything, drugs, alcohol, shopping, eating, any kind of addiction. When you stop doing it and you relapse, the Bible says, guess what? It comes back 7 times greater.
Wow.
So if you struggled the first time, your second struggle is going to be even harder. That's why you need to stay connected with people so that you don't relapse.
And we talked about earlier, friends, the people that you associate with, because I know the Bible talks about our friends being, we all need to be, what's the word I'm looking for?
Brother's keeper?
Yeah, but all in the same accord.
Yeah.
So even in our addiction, we want people that's clean. Why I'm gonna try to be clean hanging around somebody who's still using? That's crazy.
In the book of Exodus, even if you don't know, you might have heard the story before. When God told Moses to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, I'm quite sure in that group of people, which was a lot, there weren't all believers in that group.
Oh, surely.
But they were able to reap the benefit of God setting the other ones free.
Yes.
So it is spiritual, and if you walk the journey long enough, God will reveal himself to you.
Yes.
One of the great things in that, though, in Exodus, when God was leading them out, God parted the sea. How many of us have heard that story about God parting the Red Sea for the Israelites to come out?
Yes.
When God parted that sea and they got through, the sea closed up. Guess what that represented? That you were never going to see that thing again. There's no way they can get to you.
Wow.
But not only that, there's no way for you to get back.
So
God will set you free. There's no way for you to go back to that thing that held you captive. There's no way for you to go back to that drug. There's no way for you to go back to that alcohol. That's God's way.
yes.
And that's the beauty in allowing him to do it.
It's different for everybody. You may not need to go to recovery center. You may be able to stop on your own. I went to a recovery center because that's what I needed. I was one of those people who I tried 50,000 times to stop. I'd stop for 2 weeks. I'd stop for a month. But at the end of the day, I was back there. I literally had to take myself out of my county, out of my state, because I know every trap, every holder. I can get credit here. And I had to go. I had spent 19 years chasing this rabbit. And I had to go somewhere else.
Well, I didn't go to recovery. I didn't go to counseling. God literally delivered me, even to a point where it was against my own will. I clearly remember sitting on the couch with a glass in my hand, trying to drink this drink. And when I was a drinker, I drank hard liquor. I didn't drink, don't give me a pina colada, don't give me some kind of soft drink, give me the hard stuff. Don't put too much ice in it because I don't want it watered down. I'm just being real with you.
Right.
I was doing that, and then I went to wine because in this process, I was already in the church. In this process, God is trying to take the alcohol from me. And I'm still fighting it. So, okay, I can't drink the hard stuff anymore. I'm going to drink the soft stuff now. I'm going to drink wine now. God is still trying to take it away from me, literally. To the point where I went in the refrigerator, I got some Sprite and had to pour it in the wine because the wine was too strong.
Wow.
God was literally trying to take this from me against my own will.
Wow.
Because I didn't want to yield to it.
The thing that I have recognized is that a lot of times you have the person who's in recovery, which may be you, and we're doing these steps, and then we hear this, okay, let God do it. But a lot of times it does not, we can't grab a hold to that because we've been taught this right here. Now, does this right here work? Yes, ma'am, it does. But like you said, for how long? For that's where we have to begin.
Right.
That's a beginning point. I do encourage you, if that's where you're at and you're starting with these self-help groups, and whether it be Smart Recovery, 12 Steps, DTR, whatever group it is, whatever you've got to do to get started, get that. But at the same time, as Reverend Callender has said, please know by all means that it's God who sets free. It's God who does the delivering.
Yes.
It's God who breaks the yoke. It's God who sets the captives free. And I think somewhere down the line, like I said, man makes it fit so that we don't have to give God all the credit.
Well, if you don't know Jesus Christ, if you're struggling and you don't know him, it's as simple as opening up your heart to allow him to come in. It's not complicated. You might have heard people, make it really complicated. Well, how do I become saved? How do I trust God? How do I give my addiction to God? It's as simple as opening up your heart and saying, God, you know what? I surrender. I can't do it within myself.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I want to give this up. I want to let it go. I want my mind to change, but I can't. God, will you please come into my heart and give me the strength to do it?
Yes.
All he asks is for you to believe. And if you can believe he's able to do it, he will do it.
Amen.
He will do it.
Amen. If you like what you heard, hit your thumbs up and subscribe. Remember, the journey is not about where you're going, but how to get there, one day at a time. Until next time.